What's going on, everybody? It's Frito here, back again for your Overwatch. This time we're digging into the specifics of one of the most substantial buffs to be in progress at the PTR. Now, keep in mind, any of the changes that they make in the PTR don't necessarily have to make it into the live game at all, but it is an indication where Blizzard is leaning. They've already, in fact, made a few adjustments to the original buffs that we have seen in the PTR that we discussed in the podcast yesterday. So instead of Zenyatta, for instance, having 200 health, 150 of that being shields, they dropped it down to 175. Mercy no longer has the 50% damage boost, which made McCree one-shot 200 health characters with the damage app on. That's ridiculous. It's utterly insane. It's as if you're playing Counter-Strike at that point with the one-shot headshots. However, you have all the movement abilities of a hero class-based shooter. d.va, though, I think is another one that needs to be toned back just a bit. And look how, honestly, people complain about this Ana ult. I think it looks awesome. It's so cool to be able to see Reinhardt have his time to shine running into your team. And strangely enough, d.va is a decent character to fight that sort of thing with the Ana boost because it's so easy to hit so many of those shots. You're going to get a lot of reliable damage on target, which will help you focus down those chrono boosted enemies as they fly into you. Now, d.va, I used her quite a bit in pubs. I like the play style. I like the opportunity to open up the map for your team. It's a big responsibility. However, at the pub level and even the pro level, she saw limited applicability because her utility wasn't prevalent enough for it to be active. Like, for instance, the percentage of time that a Reinhardt shield is active, which is just about the entire time, or the explosive capability of Winston, who jumps really fast. So they buffed her ability to defense matrix more reliably. However, I think it's at the point of obscurity. I think it's a little too much, and here's why. If you think about it, the defense matrix effectively has 100% uptime. Now, it doesn't technically have 100% uptime, but in the flow of the character, because the capacity of her fuel for defense matrix is 4 seconds of time, and the fact that in between that, she either can stop and shoot, and in reality, you don't want to be shooting until you're finally in your range, because if you're shooting at maximum range like this, there's just no point. You might as well even be walking up from that distance, because your time to kill will be so slow. Really, as d.va, you need to hone in on your targets first before you even worry about shooting, because you'll be doing so little damage, it's going to be negligible. But in between that, she can fly away, avoid combat, and then by the time she's ready to engage again, defense matrix will be up. It's very difficult to punish d.va ever. But ultimately, unless she finds herself in a massive disadvantaged fight, which is hard to do considering you can fly away every 5 seconds, she has essentially an auto get out of jail free card, which at any point can disrupt all the damage incoming and stall out the fight. The reason I don't like this is because as opposed to like a Genji deflect, it isn't as skillful as should be required for the value that it puts out. When Genji deflects, we know it's very powerful and has the ability to completely swing the battle. But that's why it's on a longer cooldown. That's why it requires you to aim back the thing that you're reflecting. And that ultimately is going to take the timing and skill to optimize. Whereas d.va is going to have defense matrix up whenever she needs it. Now, what is my solution, though? I think that instead of letting her have her thrusters every 5 seconds, her thruster ability should be tied to her fuel capacity. Now, obviously, that might mean you have to put the fuel capacity up more, but at least then it'd be a bit more management of your resource, and it'll be harder to decide whether you should just automatically spam fly, whether you should enact fly and defense matrix at the same time, because they both would drain the fuel at an increasing rate. So if you fly into a situation and then run out of that fuel, you might not be able to freely get out. Whereas right now, no matter what, you can just zip in and out as you please. Knock over at your neighbor's house, ask for some sugar, be back in time before the water boils. Weird cooking analogy, but she just can fly everywhere. She can be all over the map at any time, whatever she wants, and not be punished for it. Let me know what you guys think. I think D.va being one of the best mechs in the game is a good thing, because overall it opens up the game in a more dynamic way that is to my liking, as opposed to the Reinhardt Shield Deathball meta, which forces the game to play a bit more static than I'd personally like. But I think enabling the abilities of D.va should require some better management skills and timing, similar to Winston, who kind of gets the shaft in this meta, by the way. Winston might be terrible, especially in comparison to D.va, if this patch comes in as is. I don't even necessarily mind if while you fly it drains all your resources, but maybe it takes an upfront in one big chunk and then lets you fly for the next 4 seconds or whatever it is. Because I think it might feel kind of bad to be trying to fly midair and then all of a sudden run out of fuel and go tumbling down. That wouldn't feel like good gameplay. But at the very least, I like that they're goofing around in the PTR with some of these settings and giving us a chance to respond in order for it to make the most positive impact on the game when it goes live. Let me know your guys' thoughts on this situation, or really any of the big patch items in the PTR right now. A lot of changes coming to Overwatch, and it's an interesting time to be a fan of the game. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button, share our channel with your friends who play the game. I've been Frito for Your Overwatch, and I'll see you guys next time.